Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm just gonna do quick speaker test and mic test right now, Dan. The answer is right now. We scheduled it for 11 and it's 11 right now our time, so we hit go.
Right now.
I think the mic's a bit loud. I'm just gonna turn that down. Let's see here. Are we still a little bit hot on the mic? Can you guys hear me okay?
Turn that down.
Let's just make sure everything is right with the world. That's probably okay. If it's too quiet, let me know. Welcome everybody. We're here on a beautiful winter Sunday morning. Yep, Alberta winter, snow, crap, all that stuff. So, oh, it's 1 p.m. there. What part of the world are you in, Dan? So today we're going. I'm gonna run through a bit of a few questions I've seen through some forums and things like that on Cura and what's new, what's exciting, and is it safe to upgrade? So I guess the first thing that we should do is just take a look at the change log. We'll see. You can barely hear me. Okay, hold on. Okay, now. You should be able to hear me. I think that's probably better. I'm in Romulus, Michigan. Nice. Wow, we got everybody from around the world. Norway. Great to see all you guys. So, I think the mic's a bit better. If it's still a little quiet, let me know. But we should be fairly loud, and away we go. Yeah, awesome. So the biggest change with Cura 4.8 came out recently. Changelog says 5 days ago. I've been using the beta since the beta launched, and there's a few cool changes in Cura, but 4.7 was really the definitive big change in the last little bit, whereas the 4.8 is a lot of bug fixes to 4.7, like the tree support fix or the layer shifting problems. So they've done a lot of work in the area of bug fixing, but one of the coolest new features, and I'm going to bring this over, I'm going to highlight it, and we'll show you exactly what it is this first one here. So let me just switch screen here. Boom, transition. There we are. So the first big change, and I do have it highlighted here, is, if you notice, they're adding Prusa research, so Prusa Slicer library files into Cura. Specifically, this algorithm helps with arranging items on the build plate. So I don't know about you guys, but Cura has always driven me a little bit batty from time to time, where it's trying to place things on the build plate, and all of a sudden you know that your 500 by 500 build plate can take that 6 objects that you put on it, but it throws one way out to the side, and you're left wondering why you have to do it manually. So they've done some work on that feature. And then the other cool one too, I don't know if you guys do a lot of collaboration work when you 3D print. So, you know, let's say you and your buddy are going to print a stormtrooper costume or whatever it happens to be, or a model of an engine, and you're going to split the work up between the two of you, and you want to share the same project file. Cura can do that. You can save projects in Cura. It's file save. But what it couldn't do before was bring printer settings. And if you had a printer that didn't match in Cura, you couldn't actually open the project properly. It was a bit of an issue. But now in 4.8, for sure, if you have a printer that's not listed in the project, they finally got it straightened out where you can pick the printer. So let's say you're rocking a CR10S and your other person's rocking a like an Anycubic Mega or something. You guys can mix and match printers and share the project file back and forth now, which is a really cool feature. Other than that, there were some very minor changes in 4.8, but one of the biggest questions I get and that I've seen around is it safe to upgrade to 4.8? I still see people rocking 4.0 and they're quite happy back there. So let's answer that question quickly. So the way we are going to do that is, welcome to my Cura 4.6. So this is on this computer here. I haven't updated since 4.6 on this particular machine, but I have definitely upgraded on my other machines already. But we're on Cura 4.6, and on 4.6 we got this download Ultimaker is available. Let's do it. So we'll pop over to the Ultimaker site here, and we are going to download it. So let's hit download and bring it over. Agree. So we'll go 4.8 here, and this might be dreaming, or I might not pay very close attention to some things sometimes, but I've noticed that this Get Enterprise Edition button has popped up. So I'm just, I'm wondering how long it's been there. Has anybody noticed the Get Enterprise button before? I sure haven't. I wish. Oh, hey guys, Greg made it to the chat. Greg's working on some house projects today, but he popped into chat to say hello to all you good folk. So welcome to Greg now too. And welcome to SPC3D, of course, and Lurkerpus from Norway, Dan Adams. You guys are awesome for being here. Those are the only names I see in chat. If I didn't get you and you're not in chat, hey, welcome to you too. It's been real so far. So here's our Ultimaker download. I'm just gonna click it. It's gonna open. One thing I will do is close the old Ultimaker. Cura is fairly heavy on video resources, and yeah, I don't want to bog down the video stream too bad, so we're gonna do this. In the pop-up window, yeah, I know, right? The Enterprise, go a little louder, you say? Yeah, we can go louder. A little bit louder. Oh, let's reach. Good thing I got 6 feet arms. There we go. There we go. I think, yeah. Later to all the party. Andrew, you're out of here. We'll catch you later, buddy. So we got the install here. We got 4.2 already installed. Word to the wise, I always click no, and then I'll decide which one I want to keep. So I've got 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, all the way up to 4.6. So I'm just going to mash the no button until that stops. And here we go. The installer looks exactly the same. Agree, next, 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 next. It's going to throw it into that Ultimaker file folder and program files. Next. Now, if you are hooking your printer up, this is what most people... oh, hey, you just got here. I love it. I love it, Andrew. Welcome. Welcome then. Not goodbye. Welcome. So a lot of things some people do is hook their printer to their computer. If you do that, you do need the drivers, but I'm not, so I untick drivers. I really want Cura. That's it. So I'll leave OpenSTL files with Cura. That's fine. But if you untick the drivers, the install's a little slimmer. However, if you do use Cura to print, i.e. USB cable to printer, you need those drivers. So don't untick those boxes, obviously. So it's just going to run through the install quick, and I hope it's fairly quick. 4.8 didn't change a whole ton of things, like I said, from 4.7. One of the bigger ones that did change as well was they've added some definitions for some more printers. So we've got, I don't know if anybody out there uses them, but we've got support now for the artillery printers. So Anybody use a Sidewinder out there? What printers are we rocking right now? Just out of curiosity, what do we all have? One that's kind of nice is the Big Tree Tech B1, or the BitQ B1, I should say. And then the other one that they did add in this release specifically was the CR6, that new Creality one. Now, that's not to say that 4.7 will just go back in time a bit. 4.7 added a ton of printers, including like Predators, Zeros, just a lot of the like Tronxy stuff that was out there. So they've been adding printers like crazy, which is good. So we'll go back to here. So our installation has finished. That unfortunately doesn't mean it's just gonna fire open. We're gonna say run Ultimaker, but it's going to take a second for Ultimaker to open. Yeah, if you guys like Greg said there, right? Like the drivers are just bloatware, and you actually can end up running into some issues if you install those drivers for your printer. For example, if you install the root drivers for the Arduino setup from Cura, and then you want to use VS Code to update, say, an E3 dip board, you can run into some compatibility issues where it's using the wrong driver to grab the board, and then you got to go to the GitHub, find the right drivers for the E3 board, and then away you go. So we're just loading. I can't drag that screen over, unfortunately, to that file sherry one. Now, if you guys are wondering, I mean, Cura always loads the changes when it boots up, but you can also go to the GitHub, the Ultimaker GitHub, and if you're ever curious as to what's being added in, the GitHub has the release notes for each release, so you can go back in time. But I'll show you a thing when our Cura opens. So here's our Cura. We're gonna get started because that's what we do. And agree. You should definitely read the terms of use and agreements, folks, before you click agree. I have. It's all good. So you can see here, though, when Cura opens up, the changelog that we were reading is right in Cura. And it's not just the changelog for 4.8. We can scroll down past 4.8, and they have all the previous ones in here. So you can see what's going on in Cura. Yes, Greg has a little print army. Is your A8 printing right now, Greg? I can't remember. I don't remember, honestly. So once we get through the change logs, you can read it, but we went through the big change revisions. We'll click next, and we'll click next, help improve Cura, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's fine. Here, your Ultimaker account. If you haven't created an Ultimaker account, create one. So I'll hit sign in. I'm going to move the window over, though, to sign in because I don't want you guys to see my username and password. So your username and password is going to be an email address, and it's also going to be, obviously, your password. What your Ultimaker account does is let you store backups of your configuration, and it lets you store a bunch of backups of your configuration. So you can see here that I've made it. It wants to save my password. I'll click close. I don't want to save my password, but you can see here you're signed in with your Ultimaker, and they've actually changed the wording here. They've added the Digital Factory account, so that's pretty sweet. Things are changing. Now you can see here, and you can add fleet printers into your Ultimaker online account now. So if you were using Ultimaker printers, I'm not sure if any other printers actually hook up here automatically. So I think you have to use Ultimaker, and this might be the enterprise part. SPC 3D has an Ender, CR10S, Anycubic Delta. Dude, we have like the same printers except for the artillery. You guys know I have a Mamarubot, an Anycubic Predator, CR10S, Legend, because Greg's an awesome fellow, and CR10S. So under 5, both TH2 easy boards. Yeah, so looks like everybody has a collection of all different branded printers, which is awesome. And we'll talk about that. Once you're signed in, though, to this web page, we can pop back into Cura, and you can see here that it's giving me like add a printer button, or, you know, add a non-network printer. So a network printer would be a printer in general that's Ultimaker. I haven't had much success with the other ones yet, but let's go through the list. We're going to pick any random printer. So right now I'm going to pick the Ultimaker Original Plus. It doesn't matter. Now I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a second. But if you do not have an Ultimaker online account and your first time signing into Cura is right now, you're going to pick your actual printer. So I'm just going to shrink this down for a second, and then we'll go into the custom printers, right? We have, if you don't know what your width or what your machine name is, you picked it up off of eBay and all the markings were gone, hey, you can come in here and make a custom printer, type in the definition space. But we all have Anycubic, and we all have, it looks like Artillery is popular. We have Ender 3s, right? So if we pop down, if you're, again, first time using Cura, look, you can pick Predator now, right? It's in there. You can pick the Chiron, it's in there. You can have the Artillery stuff. They have the Sidewinder, and I think, yeah, we have a Sidewinder. I once read the license and couldn't understand 90% of it. Yeah, I know, man. Those licenses are crazy. Unfortunately, or fortunately, fortunately, for part of my job in the past, historically and currently, it's understanding those license agreements, and they are amazing and long and legalese, and you feel kind of inadequate once you've read the whole thing and think, wow, where did my time go? But it's important to read them at least now and again. So for our example here, let's say we're new to Cura. Let's pick Creality, because it looks like everybody has an Ender or Ender-esque printer. So you can see here we have an Ender 3 and an Ender 3 Pro. The difference between the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Pro, and I know everybody's screaming at the monitor, oh, the 4040 extrusion. No. Yes, but no, not in Cura. The difference between the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Pro in Cura is the Ender 3 actually has safe zones built on Cura for the bed clips. Okay, so like those bed clippy things are built in with a gray mask on them. So we're going to add an Ender 3. I'm going to click next. And then it gives us our proper build dimensions finally. So an Ender 3 is 235 by 235 by 250, not 220 by 220. So that's amazing, right? Print head settings, these are good settings. They have been the same in Cura for a very long time for Creality CR10 stuff, so they work well. Your start and end G codes at the bottom. If you do have a BL Touch, you're going to want to pop into the start G code here, and right after the G28, fire that G29 for your BL Touch, or your bacon, lettuce, and tomato. So that's pretty standard. There's nothing hard there. If you have the BL Touch, add that. If you don't, leave it. We'll just take it out for now. We'll click next. We haven't changed anything. We're just clicking next. Again, the extruder here is 1.75 millimeter filament, and Bob's your uncle. So let's do this. So you can see here I have some interesting errors. I don't know if you guys can read them or not, but I'll help you out. My configuration errors are Anycubic Predator is missing. Oh no. Oh no. My Mamarubot is missing. Oh no. My Anycubic Predator is missing. Oh dear. And my Mamarubot is missing. This reset button here, folks, is a trap. It's a trap. Don't do it. So I'm just gonna close because we're just looking at the Ender right now. So while we're looking at this printer here, we can see that I did not actually add the CR10S. Do you guys remember me adding the CR10S? No, I did not add the CR10S. The CR10S came over from my old profiles. All those errors are because Cura brought forward my old config file. So first answer to the first question. Will Cura bring my configs? Will Cura work and be safe. Yes, of course it is. They plan for this stuff. Let me show you just really quick here. So I have a Quality Ender 3, and we added the 3 and the 3 Pro, right? So I'm just going to go to build plate adhesion here. We're going to go none, because I just want to see a really good picture of the top of the build plate, right? So here's our Ender. This is the Pro. And then if we click this one, this is also the Pro. So it brought my config files over even better than I thought it was going to bring them, which is amazing. I'm just going to grab that Ender 3 for us so we can see. I want to see. Let's do this one, and let's see. It might have brought all my settings over really, really, really well, which means it might not show us that, but I think it will. So we have Ender 3. We have an Ender 3, we have an Ender 3, and an Ender 3. And you're like, oh man, this is getting messed up. It's okay. I'll show you exactly what to do. You have to add a printer into Cura to get it to boot to an interface so you can actually do something with it. It is annoying, and it's been that way since 4.8. So these printers don't have my safe zone, so it's brought over my custom printer, which is fine. So the safe zone for the Ender 3 is just on the top and the bottom where those clips are. Ender 3 Pro looks like this. So this, however, is not the right config for me, right? And I'm about to show you why you need those Ultimaker accounts if you don't have them. So if you go into your, is it settings? Extensions. Yep. Extensions, Cura backups, manage backups. So remember, we just signed into Cura. And what that does is it gives offline Cura, so what we have on our desktop, access to our online account, which has all the backups. This is why you need Cura accounts. So make that Cura account. It's extensions, and then it's Cura backups. If you don't have a backup and this is your first time hearing of it, sign in, hit that backup now button. I don't do auto backups because I do strange things, as I'm sure we all do in slicers sometimes, where we have like certain projects that just need that little bit higher temperature, and then every time you make a change it tries to save. So I just do manual, and we can see that my manual last one is up here. So it's October 23rd, so it's almost a month old, but it's from Cura 4.71. Now, any of these backups will load. Anything from the Cura 4, I think it was 4.1 series when they actually introduced like the good version of the integration between Cura offline and your online account. But let's us restore this backup. So I'm going to hit restore. It says, oh, you got to restart Cura. You sure? Yes, we're sure. We're restoring. Okay. So Cura closed. We're back at the sign-in page that we did sign in for online. Now, the fun part is it says Cura needs to restart. What do you think they're not doing for us right now? That's right. They're not restarting Cura. They closed it for us, but that button doesn't restart it. So we're just going to launch it ourselves. All right. Cura is opening in the background there. So how many of you right now are on Cura 4.8 or better than Cura 4.5? So who's come into the future kicking and screaming? Okay, so our Cura has opened, and here we are. Nobody is on 4.8 or 4.7, 6, 5. Anyway, once we restore our backups, we get here again. It's just next. It's the same window we just saw. Next. It'll ask us to sign in again. And since I already signed in, it should just pass through and say, you're done. Yay. Which it does. Again, it's kind of annoying. And this goes back to what I was talking, Dan. We got one for 4.8. Good job, Dan. We're going to click just an Ultimaker original, and then it's going to ask us to like do stuff with the printer, but it doesn't matter. The reason we chose Ultimaker is because now you can see here, instead of like 3 rando Ender 3s here, I just upgraded to 4.8 from 4.7. Yeah, if you guys are on 4.7 or 4.71, get to 4.8 and do it rather quickly because 4.8 fixes a lot of bugs in the support structures. Icon says 4.6, but I rarely use it. Hack Monkey, what you using? What's your slicer of choice? So since we added that rando printer in here just to make sure that we had a printer to get Cura open, which they need to fix that. If you've restored it back up, you shouldn't have to go through the wizard again, but that's here nor there. We're just going to click on manage printers, and here's the rando one we added, and we're going to click remove. Perfect. Okay, Prusa Slicer. Oh yeah, man, Prusa Slicer is my game, and we're going to talk about it in a second here. Almost talking about it. So if I switch printers and I don't see that Ultimaker no more, it's gone. Mamarubot, I have some errors here. So Mamarubot, your configuration seems to be correct. Something seems to be wrong with the following profiles. We talk about this in another video, but basically what we have to do is we've made custom printers in Cura. And I just have to get back to those custom printers. So we should be able to go see program files, Ultimaker. Yep. So here's this window here, see program files. My 4.6 config worked, which means I have those printers in my 4.6. So let's just show really quick what we do. So I have my 4.6 here, and I'll get my 4.8 here. And then we go resources. Your printers are stored in resources. And then we're going to go into extrude. Actually, let's go definitions first. That's way better. So the definitions folder is where all your printers are stored. We talk about this like in a video from like a year ago. It's kind of, it's old. I can't believe it. So the printer that we're picking is the Anycubic Predator. And then the other one we're actually picking as well, because you can see on this side here I don't have, and so my new definition folder I don't have a Predator. It's because I made this printer, and then so I have my Predator, and then the other one I need is my Mamarubot. So we're looking for Mamarubot, and I guess they're actually called Hyea now. So I'm going to copy those two. I'm going to paste them into that definitions folder. Since it is in the protected program file, you have to give it administrator rights. So and then we go extruders folder, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to find Anycubic Predator, and I'm going to scroll down now, and then I'll find that Mamarubot. And Bob's your uncle, magic happens. Copy and paste. So every printer in general has a definition, which is the printer, and it has the extruder, which is the actual hot end filament settings, that kind of stuff. So you need both files. One of my Ender 3 Pros has a glass bed. Can I use the Ender 3 profile to get the safe zone? Absolutely. That's exactly what that profile is for. So just to throw it out there so it's out in the crowd, switch back to this one. The Ender 3 Pro and the Ender 3 are the exact same printer, except for a few like minor structural changes. There's that profile on the bottom, but your build volume and stuff like that, the things that slicers care about, they are the same printer. So if you have a glass, like you bought the Creality glass or went and got a piece of glass cut, and you're using those binder clips, yeah, that safe zone, you can use that. So you could use the Ender 3 profile, and that safe zone gets added into the printer for you. So we have all of that. We've moved it all. So now I'm just going to close those folders. I'm also going to close this window. I'm not clicking the trap button. That reset is a trap. Don't do it. Okay, so we're just going to run Cura here. And it's opening 4.61. Awesome. Good job, Cura. Sometimes Cura does that, and it's most annoying. So let's just end that task. And we're going to try again. End task. There we go. All right. You guys are all still with me? Yep. Good. Okay. So we're just going to open. No, I don't want that over there. There we go. Wow, this is annoying now because it redid my window sizing. Oh well. We're gonna open Cura 4.8. So I guess we're gonna click here and we're gonna click here. So instead of typing it in, I just clicked it twice. So while that one opens, we're gonna switch over to Prusa Slicer here, but I see lots of people in a minute. I use both, and I know Greg uses both, but he's been more on Prusa Slicer these days. An interesting fact is Cura is using Prusa Slicer library files now. So I don't know what that says about how awesome Prusa or Cura. But remember, a slicer is a good tool, but it is only good as you configure it, right? So Cura has lots of preset configurations for us. Prusa has a bunch for us now too, and we're going to talk about that. And they are coming along smashingly. So, and if you guys are there, Dan, you are an amazing person. Remember, people, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. You guys are amazing people. So here's my Cura 4.8. I didn't do anything to it. I swear. You can see all those errors are gone. And then check this out. Remember we brought our backup in? Well, here's all my printers. So now I have my Predator, I have my Mamarubot, and I do have that Ender 3 profile. And this is the one, the Ender 3 profile is the one that has that safe zone. And then I have the Ender 3 Pro, and that one looks relatively the same right now. It might not show the safe zone until I actually got a print on there too. So the backup brought everything in perfectly. The other big change that I will show is, like, you guys do remember the experimental menu. It's our friend. It's down here, but you will notice that tree supports and some other things are well absent now. And that's just because they've moved tree support into support. So it's kind of cool. Up here you can get generate support, and then you get to pick your support structure, which is amazing because before people forgot that all these settings underneath here for tree supports would work because you had a button down way down here. Whoa, not even in the same section. And you're like, click. Yep. Okay. And then up here, all these settings were just orphaned. And we talked about that too on another live stream, I do believe. Hey everybody, I'm just reading comments really quick, guys. Usually there's two of us and one of us can read. But today there's just one reader, and it's me. When I need supports for paint. Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about, paint on supports for sure. Yeah, Prusa Slicer has so everybody's reading the comments, I think, but if you're not, the one statement was Prusa Slicer is awesome when I need paint on supports. Absolutely it is. Let's see if we have like a model here that I can load in. Downloads. Do I have a model? No. Whatever. I'll get one. Let me grab a model. But like the paint on supports in Prusa Slicer are amazing. If how many people thumbs up, smiley face, whatever in the chat stream there, but how many people have actually used support blockers in Cura? How many of you have played with support blockers in Cura? Is that a thing that you have done? I know I have. I guess everybody knows of the existence of support blockers is another question mark. Is that support blockers are the reverse logic of paint on supports. So if you haven't used them before, support blockers just tell the slicer where not to put stuff. And yes, Dan has hit the nail on the head. Support blockers are a pain in the butt. Cura's been using them for a while, and we've got Prusa Slicer that actually has used them too. but Prusa does it in a bit different way, and they don't call it support blockers, they're modifiers. And but the paint on supports in Prusa are a game-changing thing. Just out of curiosity, how many people are on the alpha right now? So to get the paint on supports in Cura, or sorry, in Prusa, you have to be on the alpha. So I'm just wondering how many people are on the new alpha for Prusa. Man, you think finding a model that just is a good model with there right here. Okay, I found one. That's when I switched to Prusa. Yeah. So Cura, that's all the changes in a nutshell. And I just wanted to show the migration progress and the storage features up there. Again, we're gonna dump a whole lot of more topics into Prusa. Just upgraded since I used Ubuntu and app image. I was just a click. Yeah, Ubuntu app image. So Linux has a distinct advantage because it uses app image files instead of like a Windows installer and local user folders. You can just do it. Not yet. I've been playing with PrusaSlicer. Cool. So let's I'm just gonna take a quick peek here. We'll shrink this window. We're gonna go this. We're gonna go PrusaSlicer GitHub. So right now, since the PrusaSlicer is in alpha, we have to jump to the GitHub. The one you download from the website is still 2.2. Might have a sub number. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but that's okay. It's okay. But Prusa 2.3 alpha. And so let's just switch this. Boom. Wow. Look at that technology. So PrusaSlicer 2.3 alpha 3 is here. It's amazing. I have liked everything about PrusaSlicer since it came out. I had a weird issue with my Predator profile. So my last few Predator prints, I've actually gone back to Cura. But other than that, PrusaSlicer is night and day with its logic and how it handles like bridging and support structures. One of the cooler things that they've added to, we've all been talking about, we've been talking about the paint on support, but the other thing they've added is more support for remote printing. So if you guys are Repeater host users, yeah, you can definitely just click right into Repeater now. So like if I bring up my PrusaSlicer, this is the old version. I don't have the new one installed. I'm about to do that, but I'm going to bring up the old version here. But you can see also that the G-code viewer can do a lot more in PrusaSlicer. So they're taking stuff that was in Slick 3R, specifically probably their Prusa edition, but they're taking stuff and making it better. So the G-code viewer has a lot more tools. It's able to extract configs and read them properly. The other thing that they've done too is, oh, where did it go? I had it a second ago. Oh yes, there it is. They fixed a bug. So if you guys are still on Windows 7, first off, what the heck? Upgrade to Windows 10. But Windows 7 did have a bit of a bug. It wouldn't open. Actually, when I first tried to compile the alpha, oh goodness, I don't even remember when that was. Greg, do you remember how long ago the first time we tried to compile the alpha was? But anyway, the alpha wasn't in a compiled state, which means you can't just come in here, scroll down and go, oh yes, I'm going to download, oh let's see, I'm going to take the Windows one. So I'm looking for Windows 6430. Yes, I will download that. These are all pre-compiled. Before, all they posted was the source code, and you had to go in and try to download that. But you can see here, there's new third-party support, profile supports, including Ender 2, Ender 3, Anycubic Predator, right? Like there is a lot of, let's just say it's going the way of Cura. There, lots of third-party people are adding more support for more printers, which is amazing for us. But it might bloat Prusa a bit. So yeah, I'm on 2.2.0 here. So the Prusa Slicer, and we talked about it, and it's been kind of griped about, and I totally agree. There's no nice mechanism for like saying, okay, I want to take this, put it in an online account, and then just restore. There is, however, you can export a config bundle, and then it'll save it as a config file. Let's just throw this. Yep. Fine. So it's gonna save it in my documents folder, which I'm not a huge fan of, but hey, whatever. So all that was is, again, if I went too fast for you, I apologize, but it's file, export, config bundle. Now let's go and open this. Always in here. Come on. Did I click? I don't always. Yeah, that's what I did. Open, show in folder. That's the one. Okie dokie. So here is our Prusa Slicer. And we can see it comes just as like a file, a zip file on Windows. It'll come Apex or DMG on Mac OS kind of stuff. So if I wanted to just, let's see here. Let's open this one up. We're going to go this. And we've unpacked Prusa Slicer 2.3, 2.2.3, I think it is. Let's do the right. 2.3. No, it's actually 2.3. So I had it right the first time. A little faith. So Prusa Slicer, we've already talked about like the biggest changes, and that would be the G-code viewer is amazing now, and that's also the paint on supports. So if I go into my C drive, Prusa Slicer, it's done extracting, and I go boop boop. Your Defender, this since it's in the alpha, it is not signed yet. So if you're running Windows 10 or have, unfortunately, like Norton or McAfee, something that smart scans too, it might pop this up, but Windows will definitely pop up and say, hey, this isn't signed. So all you have to do is click that more button underneath and then run anyway. Now, we say that, but people only do that with software you trust. If you've downloaded from Prusa, it's fine. If you have another file and it says, hey, just run me, I'm cool, don't believe it. Make sure you do the research. So this is my Prusa Slicer Alpha, right? So one of the changes, we've always had Prusa printers in here, right? So we have our FFF fused filament fabrication printers for those people who are love the acronyms. I don't remember what MSLA stands for off the top of my head. I should. I do know. It's just buried deep in my weekend brain. So other vendors. This is the one I really want to show. So when you add other vendors, you can see that their printers show up underneath here now. And then when you click next, or you can use the little breadcrumbs, you can see that there's basically different printers that you can pick from. And like this Predator one was not here a week and a half ago. Whenever the last time was that I actually looked at the printer. So here's the Predator built-in support. This makes me so happy. Yes, and Greg is right. Both Greg and I happen to work a lot with Windows and might have some certification, and the upgrade is masked SLA. Thank you. There's the word I was looking for. Yeah, we should probably just upgrade to Windows 10 and then give yourself a pat on the back because it runs just as fast as Windows 7 will on your computer. Anyway, so you can pick your Predator here, which is amazing for me because I have a Predator. If you don't have a Predator, it's probably less amazing for you, but hey. The other ones that we can pick out of the Mega lineup, like they've added a ton. So you can go 0, Mega, Mega S, the original, the OG Costal Deltas. And then when we go Creality now, whoa, you guys see this? Like, look at all these Creality printers. Like, remember, I think in 2.2 they came out and there was like an ender, and it was like, oh, check this out, it's an ender. We added ender, which was amazing, right? Because let's face it, ender's a very popular printer. But now look at this. You have a CR10S, you have a CR10S Pro, right? So when we're looking through our models here, like I can pick almost literally all my printers I own, which is amazing. So I have a CR10S. I've got my Ender 3s up here. It already had this one, but I have an Ender 3 with a BL Touch. Look how smart. Look how smart. Curious how the Predator profile compares to the one I rolled for mine with an SKR 1.4. You know what? I'm probably willing to bet that the profile itself for printing is close. I know for mine, when one day my Predator decided that, hey, I don't want to print the right offset, and for me it was an offset setting in PrusaSlicer in the printer settings. But like, yeah, that's a good question. You know, like, might have to do some investigation. We can do some test comparative prints and throw them up on the site there. But I will say that their base models for all the other printers that I have used, like, so specifically like the Ender 3, but like the other ones too, the CR10S printers that's in here somewhere, there it is. Like, I've not modified their default profile, if that makes sense. Like, I've left it the way Prusa had it, and I can't say the same thing about Cura, right? I was a bit of a Cura monkey. So again, we can run through. Now, filaments is something that's an interesting one, but when you choose a printer, right, for some reason I have an original mini in my list, so let's just go uncheck that. So I went back to Prusa, uncheck that, go back to filaments. Every printer will attach a filament type to it, and the list is additive, so when you click it, you have to either unclick it to click the next one and see. So you can see that the Anycubic Predator is just using generic stuff, and then the CR10S, they actually add a lot of different polymers into it. So for me, yeah, the Ender 3 profile is solid. Sorry, but I was just about to say, for me, I kind of ignore all of this. I usually click none, or I leave the generic ones, which I appreciate, right? So, and then you can build up from the generic ones, unless you use like these specific filaments. Like if you're grabbing a Prusament, use Prusament stuff, right? If you're grabbing a 3D Jake, now like where I live, I can't get 3D Jake cheap, so I don't use it, right? But if you're where these filaments exist and you use them, you can pick them. Their profile's tuned for that filament already. Other than that, you have to agree to some update stuff. The updates basically say if there's a printer profile update, you'll get it automatically, and then also check for application updates. So like when they move release revisions. Reload from disk, export past, yeah, that's fine. So finish. We technically printed or picked some printers and some filament. You hit finish, it's gonna make it. I'm gonna hit cancel. All that work to hit cancel, but I'm doing it. Cancel closes the wizard. Remember, we had our config bundle, so I'm gonna go file, import config bundle, and then there's our Prusa config bundle, and then you have the following preset: save, print, host, upload. Oh, that's sad. Whatever. It's just warning me that my Ender Octoprint connections won't work. But you can see the window pops up. It goes, successful. I've imported 15 things. And check it out. Here's all my profiles. Here's all my temperature profiles for my filament. The first one was print settings. And check it out. Yeah. Here's my printers. So here, all my printers came over, and away we go. Physical printers, it still uses, it imports both of them, which is fine. But so that file config bundle, if you have old PrusaSlicer, so let's get some inception going on. Front is old Prusa Slicer. You go File, Export, Config Bundle. New Prusa Slicer, File, Import, Config Bundle, and you're there. you're back to exactly where you left. And then if you wanted to add more printers now, so we have an established profile, right? And I mean, this is Prusa Slicer 2 looks cool. Like, it just does. So like if we bring in a model, right? Let's print this in the worst possible way. Again, this logic here is what that library file added into Cura, but we'll just click it. This is probably the worst way ever to print this, but that's okay, right? And so then we do have more buttons, right? We have layer heights, we have all sorts of like hotkeys in Prusa that we don't have, is the word I'm looking for, right? That we do have in Prusa. So it makes me happy. Again, right clicking the model also should do something. There it is. Right? Printable, reloadable to scale. So these have not changed too much in here. So yeah, that like 30 seconds. I don't know. Was that 2 minutes? In reality, it was a minute process. File, export, file, import. Now we're rocking the new Prusa Slicer. So it's fairly easy to move from the old one to the new one. This one I haven't found any problems with slicing wise on my laptop. So if you guys are like a little leery about moving, don't be leery. We could do this. Let's move together. We're moving into the future. This is an alpha, which means it's still early pre-release, which means it could have bad things happen to it, unfortunately. But it's definitely ready for a roadworthy test, but I would not delete your regular Prusa Slicer quite yet. Just wait for them to get to the final build, which should be coming soon. I know one thing that we were looking forward to, and lots of rumors were flying around about it, was the tree supports in Prusa. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. The Prusa Slicer actually already uses tree supports, right? Like they have the logic in there. They're using it for SLA printers right now, but the logic exists. They just need to like kind of transition it. Is that the, bring it forward for other printers? But you can see how Prusa Slicer has adopted more popular printers quicker than Cura has. Like Cura's on revision 4.8, and now they're finally getting a Predator printer, for example, right? So it's just one of those. It's a preference thing when it comes down to your slicer. And I saw through the comments, and I saw lots of people saying, hey, I use Prusa Slicer, but I have Cura installed. And you know what? I'm one of those. I use Prusa Slicer. I use Cura. I even have Simplified, but let's face it, Simplified 3D, that's kind of a waste of money now. They haven't updated in so long, and they've promised the world and delivered nothing. Companies like Cura and Prusa are leaving them in the dust. So, unfortunate, but it seems that their day has passed. So, with that, that's kind of like the quickish overview I was hoping for Prusa Slicer and for Cura, just to show you they're both safe to use. You can import your profiles quickly. Cura uses the online account for the best transfer method. It does automatically pull profiles forward. If you have custom printers, you have to bring them back in. Moral of that story. You can use the import export on the new Prusa Slicer Alpha to import your settings from the old Prusa Slicer 2.2. So that, in a nutshell, like, they're both safe. Use them. The Alpha will one day be a full release. Yeah, if I need something that has tree support, I'm back. just like you, Dan. I'm back at Cura using tree supports. The day Prusa has those tree supports in, Cura might not be on my computer anymore. We'll see. But hey, it's getting around lunchtime for us here. So, I mean, you guys have been awesome in the chat. Good questions coming through. We sincerely thank all of you for coming with us on this journey. We're going to start doing more of these live stream format videos where we have a topic. Definitely today was Cura and Prusa from the beginning, but we're going to do a lot more slicer stuff. Well, I am. I'm going to just show a few tricks, tips, and stuff like that through these live streams so we can get some back and forth going. We also will have some updates on the Marlin stuff that's happened, right? Like the fact that the auto build function in VS Code works finally properly. Yay. So we do have some of that stuff coming regular content wise, but I'm going to be, like I said, we're going to be doing a few more of these live streams. We've checked, we've got concurrent from you guys, like this is what we like, so we're doing it. So you guys are amazing. Until we meet again, you guys stay safe out there. It's a crazy world, but we're going to make it together, right? So until next time, have a good one and take care. See you guys.